And if you'll please remain standing, the ladies of the Girl Scouts will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance in just a moment.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. And if I could ask if you could please remain standing, and we'll now be joined by our City Clerk, Ellen Craig-Bragg, to present the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night and that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
On behalf of the City of Romulus and Romulus Community Schools, welcome to Romulus Senior High School, home of the Eagles. We're very excited to be back here today for the Mayor's second State of the City address. And at this point in the program, what I'd like to do is just recognize some of our elected officials. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here this afternoon with us. We'll start off with our City Council. Our City Treasurer, Stacy Page, is here today. And our City Clerk, Ellen Craig-Bragg, has already entertained you today. City Council, Mayor Pro Tem John Barden. Councilwoman Kathy Abdo. Councilwoman Tina Talley. Councilman Bill Wadsworth. Councilwoman Virginia Williams. I'd also like to recognize from our 34th District Court is our Chief Judge, Brian Oakley. And joining us, Councilwoman Eva Webb. From our County Executive's Office, I would like to recognize the Deputy Wayne County Executive, Assad Chirpy. Assad, thank you for being here today. We also have from State Senator's Office, Ms. O'Neill is here on behalf of the State Senator, and hopefully he'll be joining us if time allows. But he's also got a very busy schedule. We have State Representative Jim DeSana. And then we also have some of our neighboring mayors from the city of Wayne. We have Mayor Risa. I also saw Mayor Woolley from the city of Taylor. And Brian McCraight from State Senator Gary Peters' office. Thank you so much. I also see a lot of friendly faces and a lot of our boards and commission members. If you're part of a city board or commission, could you just stand for a moment, please? Thank you for your service as well. You support us throughout the year, so thank you. This time, I would like to call up Reverend Arthur Willis, and he will provide our invocation.
All right.
Let us pray. Our Father, our Lord, our God, we are so grateful. We thank you first and foremost that you did not give us what we deserve. You blessed us beyond measures. Here we are again, second time around for our dear mayor, and he coming today with our outlook on what has happened as we try our best, and he's trying his best to bring Romulus to one Romulus.
Amen.
We pray now, Lord, that you would continue to give him wisdom, continue, Lord, to bless his family, continue, Lord, to be with his staff. That even though they may not like the way he's going, they remember they still works for the city. Help us to grow stronger together, because at the end of the day, we are better together. Bring this community together as one. Give him wisdom to take us higher. Keep him healthy and keep him strong. And when you do that, Father, we'll forever give you praise, give you honor, and give you glory. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Willis. Okay, so the next part of the program is kind of the fun part for me, as I've been asked to introduce the mayor here in just a moment. And I have to say I consider that just really an honor and a privilege to introduce Mayor McCraight. But before I bring him on stage, I thought it was kind of important maybe this year to share a few comments about our mayor, our leader and our friend, Robert McCraight. As his chief of staff, I'm humbled to be part of his administration and proud of all of the things that we have accomplished since he's taken office as mayor. And a lot of the assistants sitting over on the side of the room right here. These are our hardworking city administrators. Thank you guys for all you do. I witness daily Mayor McCraight exemplify as all that leaders should be. He listens and he's responsive to our residents. He's welcoming to our business community. He's focused on doing the right thing and always what is best for the city of Romulus. Mayor McCraight understands the implication and the responsibility of the title of the office that he has taken. However, Mayor McCraight's a worker. He is by no means what one might classify as a politician. In fact, if you've ever been to a public meeting with him, a lot of times he doesn't even introduce himself as mayor. He's known to introduce himself as Bob, the public servant. Bob, he likes to say the old eagle, which I prefer former eagle because we're close in age. And my favorite and probably most near and dear to my heart, he likes to introduce himself as Bob, Buck and Betty's son. So that tells a little bit about a guy that leads with vision and always with heart. Mayor McCraight is focused on development that benefits our residents and our community. He's very focused on retaining our Romulus residents and youth and bringing them back to this community. In fact, tonight you're going to hear a little bit in his speech, you're going to hear him talk about some of those stories right now. We've got some Romulus kids that maybe left, have come back, or they've stayed, and guess what? Now they're protecting our community and serving here. So I'll let him share those stories, but we're very, very focused on that. Mayor McCraight's vision is not only just Romulus, it's the entire region, and he talks a lot about that. You'll hear him say that frequently over and over again. What he won't do, and if I can brag for just a minute, we are leading in this region in a lot of areas. I'm very proud of that since he's taken office. So again, Mayor McCraight is also very focused on expanding some of our existing programs for within the community, having family fun, memorable events, and inventing some new ones. And yeah, he keeps us busy, but he works just as hard right in there with us. So We look forward to seeing some new things coming out this year, and he'll be talking about that in his State of the City today as well. The last thing I just want to mention, I could go on about him. He's just a great leader, good friend, occasionally a little bit of a troublemaker, but not in a bad way. And with no further ado, let him come in and tell you his story, and the Romulus story, and let's welcome to the stage Mayor Robert McCraight.
Thank you, Julie. Great introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. You guys give it a round of applause for Julie Watoko, Chief of Staff. It's my idea to be, it's my position to be the idea guy and the energy guy to come to the office and take the city to the next level, but you need detail people around you, and Julie's a great detail person, and she keeps me out of trouble. I run it past her before I send the email out, so she keeps me out of trouble, she keeps me on the straight and narrow, and she pays attention to the detail, and she's a huge asset. And having somebody in that position that I can trust and I've known for a long time, and having Kevin, one of the things I like about the city is you got history with everybody. And I grew up playing Little League with Kevin, so known that family for a long time, trust that family, and it's important to have people like that in your corner who can help guide you through the process. So Julie, thank you for all you do and supporting my efforts. So that being said, welcome to the 2023 City of Romulus State of the City Address. We try to keep these under an hour, but there's a lot of things going on, and I want to share all these things with you. So we're going to go through that process as fast as we can, but give you as much detail. And we'll keep working on the process as we go. Bear with us for some technical things. We're trying some things up with lighting and a little bit of teleprompter right here. So we're going to keep working on this process, but we're going to keep this thing here in our schools. We thought it was important to send that message that we're here in our schools because we have a strong community school system, and we want to make sure we show that relationship with the schools. So I will begin. Let me back up and address one more thing. Yes, I enjoy my job. I think the biggest question I get asked on a day-to-day basis, well, are you still in it? Are you happy you ran? Yes, I love my job. Every day I get to hit my office. I'm either moving our community forward or I'm solving problems for our residents. And I love doing that on a day-to-day basis. So I love my job. Happy to be here. Thank you for the honor and privilege of electing me to the position. And I look forward to continued service in this community. So. I think I might need more water for this. I don't know. A bigger jug. Okay, let's get going. Telling our story, the gateway to Michigan. We see the signs, we've known about it for a long time. We've always been, welcome to Romulus, gateway to the world. That infers you're leaving. I look at that a little bit different. We backed it up, want to come at a different perspective. I look at that as, welcome to Michigan. We're the gateway to Michigan. You land here, it's the first impression you get of this state is our community. That's why we're trying to raise that bar up right now. We're working with our elected officials, our key dignitaries. We're making sure we're in the part of important conversations. A friend once told me, if you're not at the table, you're going to be on the menu, and I believe in that. And we're trying to make sure that Romulus is at the table. So it's been important to work with our legislators. You see here we got a picture with State Representative Miller, Congressman Tanadar, also Al Haydes, our Wayne County Commissioner, and then also Debbie Dingle. Doesn't represent us anymore, but she's been a huge asset to our community, especially in our efforts against the well. And then down in the lower pictures, you see State Senator Camilleri with Chief of Staff and also Kevin Krause when we were invited up to Lansing for the State of the State address. So it's been important to foster those relationships, communicate with them, our state leaders, who we are as a community, and also tour our city. We've actually taken them for, jaunts around the city so they know Romulus, they know what we are. We're not all just industrial. We're not just rural. So we want to make sure that they know firsthand from our story who we are as a community. Michigan Municipal League. It's another key organization in having a voice that's going to make us regionally significant in the state of Michigan. They're working through the state and they're developing policies and processes, and they want to be heard. So they've asked all the different cities and communities to be a part of that process. They want to hear from the frontline troops. So when they opened those doors, we weren't running. Most cities out there have one, maybe two representatives in there. We called it the hostile takeover. When we opened those doors, Romulus went running. We got Chief Faunus working for Municipal Services in the subcommittee, Julie Albert and Maria Ferris with Municipal Finance, Kevin Krause on Economic Development, Roberto Scapitici on Transportation. So as small as Romulus is, we have 5 people in that room telling our story of who we are and why we are regionally significant. Telling our story, gateway to Michigan still. Then here we are here with Chris from Metropolis, Mayor Woolley, and also Supervisor Glabe. Key developments with these communities, and we'll talk about it a lot about the region. Dissolve the borders, get rid of the borders. A win for Romulus is a win for Taylor, is a win for Huron. A win for Taylor is a win for Romulus. It's all a regional thing. We're all in this together. Economic development and investors in Michigan don't look at our borders. They don't say, hey, Romulus needs this, we're going to put this here. They look at where it strategically, makes sense for them to invest. And we increase our footprint with SEMCOG, Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments. Visit Detroit. Detroit's got a home of a lot of events, and they are losing some of the events because they don't have enough hotels. So we're looking at an opportunity right there. How do we create that synergy between the city of Detroit and the city of Romulus? We have the hotels right here. We know the draft is coming next year. It's a huge event. When we have those events in Detroit, the city of Romulus hotels are at 100% occupied. And who's there? Not the star athletes, but the worldwide media. So we want to keep working with our hotel district to make sure they're thriving and they get a good impression of the city of Romulus. DCC, CWW, Detroit Region Metropolis, all been key organizations to help this city grow. I can't emphasize enough on Chris Girdwood's importance to our community with development. When developers are looking to come to Michigan to invest and bring opportunities and job creation, Chris is the first one on the door, and he's working with Kevin Krause and myself as far as what we want to see here in Romulus. Core values. Talked about them a ton of times. They're not a need or a want, they're a must-have. Every organization must have core values. Our core values with the McCraight administration: integrity and transparency. We're going to be open and honest. You ask a question, we're going to give you an honest answer. It might not be the answer you want to hear, but we're going to give you the honest answer. We're going to be transparent the whole way through. Solution-oriented. We're just going to try to find a problem, solve to the problem. Endeavor to improve and simplify process. Can't say it any simpler than that. We're going to keep working on those things. Inclusive service and opportunities for all. We want everyone to have an opportunity here in the city of Romulus to thrive and succeed. Integrity and transparency. Part of that is, doing these meetings, we're not just going to sit here and talk about all the fluffy, great things that are coming to Romulus. We're going to talk about some of our challenges, too. We're not hiding from them. We're going to tell you what's going on. And we're working hard with our city council and our elected officials to solve these problems. First one up, we have protecting the region. We all know about some certain things that are coming here. We all know what happened with the Palestine, Ohio, and the well, and the issues we had here. So right off the bat, Chief Krause and myself were in Lansing testifying on different issues. Here we have Chief Krause testifying on the grade separation. We know about the grade separation, the funding we're trying to receive right now to do the grade separation on Pennsylvania Road, to allow first responders better access, and it'll help Huron and the city of Romulus. So we've had a few wins in that area right now. We're trending towards getting that grade separation built. And also, when I was testifying in front of the House Senate Ethics Committee about the well and what transpired, they were shocked to hear that I'm the 5th mayor in the city of Romulus to be opposed to this well. We've never been a friend of this well. We've never been heard. So once again, it was important for us to go tell our story to the state of Michigan and in Lansing. Host community for the 34th District Court. We've all heard the issues right now with the court and financing. We are the host community. So for years we've benefited from some of the funds that come through the court system and the benefits of having it in our city of Romulus, but we've had some issues there, and nobody's fault but the system's fault and the COVID issues that came around with funding and operational costs. Any financial difficulties at the court right now have not been caused because of the construction of the new building. Just want to be clear that that building came in under budget, and it was a joint effort between the 34th District Court and the city of Romulus. There are some issues right now we're trying to sort through with the court and the 5 communities about how we continue to fund operations over there. We don't have a solve yet. We've identified some issues, and we are trending in the right direction. So we are not outside the, we're not safe yet, but we're heading in the right direction. We continue to watch, monitor, and measure data. And part of it has also come from some of the changes in laws. And Judge Oakley, I've seen Chief Judge Oakley here today. Where are you at, Brian? He's also working with the state to find out how they solve some of the hardships coming through the court. Judge Tina Green is on a committee to talk about how the state might be able to assist funding some of these courts, because every community statewide is having this issue. It's not just a Romulus issue. So haven't solved that one yet. We're going to continue to work with our partners on that one and work towards a solve. Regional development. We talk about borders and wins for other communities. If you look at this, you see the yellow border, that's the city of Romulus. So we all talk about why don't we get a Myers, why can't we get an Aldi, why can't we get a Farmer Jack? They even have Farmer Jack anymore? No, I don't think. My kids are going, what's a Farmer Jack? But anyways, we talk about that, and that's why we brought in retail strategies. It's a third-party operation to look at the economics in the area. You know, they always focus on the 25,000 residents we have, the 6,000 rooftops. Well, we got to take a deeper drill. We have 25,000 badged employees in that airport alone. So are these investors seeing that? Are they seeing the 150,000 people who are driving through our expressways and through our community every day? They're not seeing that. So we hired retail strategies to go after these companies, to show them the data, to show them the actual, to show them more than just the rooftops, more than just the 6,000 residents, that there are opportunities here. If you look at these areas right here, so Haggerty and the Van Buren, that's where you have a Myers and a Walmart. So I could be there in 7 minutes from my house. City Clerk Ellen Bragg and myself were talking from over here where she's at. She can be at Myers in 9 minutes from her house. So that being said, why would Myers chuck one down right here? We want that. We'd love to see it. We've talked to them again, and we'll keep talking to them. But at the end of the day, it's all economics. So we'll continue to work to try to bring a market here, but that's one of the things we're dealing with right now. And we're working with retail strategies to redefine, remarket, and retell our story. Right now, Kevin, where they're at a conference in Las Vegas, working to tell our story and see if they can't bring some franchises here to the city of Romulus. So, another issue that we're having right now that we have all talked about this one. We know our roads are failing. We've been open and honest about this one. Really, the system to finance our roads is broken. Act 51 does not work, and we continue to work with our state leaders and our legislators to tell them, you know, that we need reform in that area. We just broke this out right here, and it's pretty simple. By the time we get our Act 51 money, which is how we fund our roads, 76% of that money goes right into the salt, the laborers, the trucks, the fuel, the equipment, and payments and material to take care of some of the issues. That leaves us 24%, which is roughly about $400,000. 1 lane mile of road costs $1 million to replace. What are we going to do with $400,000? So we're continuing to work and find and capture grants. We've been successful. I'll tell you about a few different things we've done here. But really, when you look at the system for funding our road system is broke. We're going to continue to work with Lansing to try to find some solves there. Recruiting and retaining first responders. This is another thing that gives me heartburn. And all the mayors that are here have the same issue. They're all nodding their head right now going, yep. How do we retain our first responders? When I was a volunteer fireman in Romulus 30 years ago, if there was an opening for a firefighter position, you had 300 people apply for one job. Now you have one job and you have cities fighting over it. Cities are offering bonuses to steal, you know, first responder from other cities. So we're going to continue to find ways to bring and recruit and retain police and fire because it's important to us. If we don't have a safe community, you know, we don't have a community. It doesn't matter what economic wins we have. Nobody's coming here to live if we don't have a safe community. So it's an absolute priority for us. So those are some of the concerns we're talking about. Those are some of the things that give me a heartburn, keeps me awake at night. I wanted to share them with you. I don't have an answer for those yet, but those are high priority targets for us to solve. And as soon as we find a solution for those, we're going to make sure we let you know. But it's going to take help with all of our elected officials, all of our city council members, all of our state representatives to help us solve some of those issues. It's not just a Romulus issue, it's a regional issue. Engaging with the community. Planning our future together. Part of the visioning process. Thank you to everybody. Raise your hand in here if you helped with the visioning process or had some input in that process at all. Thank you very much to you guys. Give a round of applause to everybody. You helped determine where we're steering this ship to. That process we went through is valuable information, and we didn't want it to be just my vision of where we're going. We wanted it to be our vision as a community. So thank you to everybody who participated in that. And that's why it was an intentional process. We wanted to know where we're going. We did this process 10 years ago. It was time for a new vision. We're a new community. We're a different community. We're a changed world. And we want to make sure that we're intentional in how we looked at that. Even right here, if you look at the logo for the Visioning Romulus, you know, when we hired this company to come in and do it, great company, did great insight. They travel around the world and do this in multiple different areas. So they had so much input and insight from different communities. But the first thing they did when they made our logo was put an airplane in there. I was like, I'm tired of seeing the airplane. We know we have an airport. We are more than just that. We wanted to focus on the people. So they threw the silhouettes up here. It's a good try, but you're still not there. We're a diverse community. We've always been. We're a 50-50. You look at the census right now, we're a diverse community. So we wanted to mix it up a little bit. So everything was intentional. We wanted to put the maroon and white in there. We wanted to show our logo in there. And we wanted to show a diverse community. So everything right here was our priority, our community, our future. So even that logo was well thought out and intentional in purpose. What I really liked about Future IQ was that the sense that you're not just, you're more global instead of regional. So you're going to get a bigger optic of where this, things that are going on inside this world. So it was important to bring somebody in to get a fresh set of eyes on our community and also walk us through the process and hear from what our residents want to say. We don't want to be my vision or my administration's vision. We wanted to be our vision. So, and that's where you came in to help us create that.
Mayor, just a final comment I wanted to make just on behalf of Future IQ as the consulting team. I wanted to congratulate you, your chief of staff, your team, your staff team and your council for what I think was a really well executed visioning process. And I was so heartened, we were so thrilled to see 1,000 people participate in this process and really give their thoughts in a very open and constructive manner. And I think the final vision and the plan, the roadmap is well validated, it's well grounded, and I think it captures the voice and the heart of the community. And I think it sets you up for a really fantastic decade going ahead. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for coming to get to know the city around.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you.
That was David Burley, who's the CEO of the visioning team that we brought in here to do it. And again, I couldn't rely enough on his insight of things he's seeing globally right now, what goes on in this country and other communities. It was such a valuable asset to us to be able to bounce things off them and talk to our residents. I think a lot of residents came to those meetings thinking, I'm just going to tell the mayor I want to get a grocery store. You know, oh, my road's terrible. It was way deeper a drill to find out where you wanted to go and talk about global economics in that room and through those sessions. So hats off to that team. I'm so glad we chose them, did a great job. And we got some good data and some good information, and you'll see that we weave those into our key goals and objectives over the next few years. Some of the results we had from the visioning process, you know, how important was it to share one vision? And you can see right there, over 40% of the people that took the survey said it was rated as a 10. Very important for us to share our vision. These were some of the pillars we got. These were some of the key objectives where people said that they wanted to see us push. So if you look at geographical advantage, they looked at, okay, we are a transportation location. We are 94, 275, railways, airport. We are 20 minutes from Detroit, which is a hard working blue collar workforce. We're 20 minutes from Ann Arbor, which is a think tank. Let's play to our strengths here. Let's encourage development and get some wins based on that and use our geographic advantage. Also neighborhood and area corridors. They want to see us beef up on there. They want to see us pay more attention to our neighborhood areas and corridors, and also create an environment for thriving families. So you see us investing more in public safety to make it a safe community and also recreation. Future workforce. They want to see us build and retain talent and development. We talk about Kroger's, and you'll hear a lot in here. Kroger was interesting because when we won them to come to Romulus, Ohio was actually offering a higher tax incentive package. They were offering around $22 million, where Romulus, scratch that, state of Michigan was offering about $18 million. They still chose Romulus because of the access to workforce. So that's a win for this region. They chose us because the talent of the workforce in the area. So we want to continue to build that and create an environment where they want to stay here and stay home in our community. And then also the One Romulus. Over 90% of the people surveyed here said the One Romulus program is important and it's vital to continue to tell that story through our city. So we're going to continue to push on those, and those are our 5 pillars right there that'll circle around where we're going to drive this community over the next 4 years.
There was a very strong desire for the community to evolve. I mean, that was something that came out very clearly in the visioning, this desire to ramp up the performance in education, to invest in neighbourhoods. And you have this very unique community where a lot of the world right now is struggling with diversity and equity and inclusivity. You already have it, and it's natural here. I mean, this is a community that is just a naturally kind of homogeneous community, like all sorts of different people here, but it really comes together as a one community, like a notion that we belong in Romulus. Right. And we may all be different and have different backgrounds and so on. And so I think that's a real feature that you can capitalize on as a community that has, where people respect each other and people learn to get on with each other, and there's deep social fabric, and people want to protect that and evolve that.
Does that make sense? I mean, I see the faces out here, and I see my old bus drivers and my old baseball coaches and the people in here. You know, when I left Romulus years ago, I was the youngest licensed heating contractor in the state. I was doing some different things. I was an independent contractor. And I came home to Romulus. I remember a friend of mine saying to me, he goes, look what you were doing, and you were moved out of here, and you ended up back here. Almost like it was a failure. And I said, absolutely not. It was intentional. Because no matter where I went, I didn't have that fabric, that social fabric around me, and that's what I want to be a part of. And so that's why it was intentional for me to come home here. I never saw myself running for office, but I knew I missed what I grew up with, and that is that sense of community. And here you have somebody who travels around the world, talking to different communities, and he sees this thing, and he learns about it through meeting you people and talking to us and learning who Romulus was. So great insight to hear from the Future IQ team, and it made us think more about who we are and why we are what we are. Inclusive service, opportunity for all. This is the organizational chart. So it talks about, you know, the mayor's office, clerk's office, the treasurer's office, all of our department heads and directors who work hard for you every day. Can't say enough about this team. And also our city council up here as well. But you see right here at the top, it's a Romulus residence. We're here for you. That's why we have this at our school system. That's why we have this at Romulus High School. That's why we have this, and we had it free this year. We wanted to bring in more and more people. We're continuing to work on those things. But we work for the city of Romulus residents. So you're here, you're at the top of the flow chart. The One Romulus meetings, we started those right off the bat last year. Took us a minute to figure out what we were doing. You know, I didn't really like this environment. I didn't feel like I was just talking at people. So we wanted to change it up a little bit. So we came into a little bit more of an informal meeting flow when I had Danielle Funderburg come and just fire questions at me. Also Judge Lisa Martin. She came and we had great unscripted conversation. We handled questions from the audience. Nothing, no holds barred. We talked about everything. We had great conversation. We had some great takeaways. We wanted to hear from the residents who'd come out in those different areas. It was also an eye-opener for me to talk to the residents in each area and hear that each different area we went to, you know, we went to Hale Creek, we went to Barth, we went to Wick, we heard different concerns. You know, one area was more concerned about one and another. So we got good, valuable feedback. We, you know, paused that process while we're doing the visioning for a minute, and now we're back at it. So Julie, when's our next one? We're going to do at the 4th Street Church. So we're working with Pastor Willis on that to set that one up. So watch social media for that. We'd love to have you out. Like I said, some good informal conversation. You can hear about some inner workings of the community and also tell what your concerns are. Employee efficiency committee as well. We put this together. Chief of Staff worked hard with some of our frontline staff. You know, we heard from the residents in the visioning process. We hear from our residents in the One Romulus meetings. We also wanted to hear from our frontline staff. So here we had Travis Early, Jennifer Freyer, Scott Haydenack, Christy Hooper, Doug Lawrence, Heather Mann, Bobby Marcel, Sean Mullins, Dawn Malloy, Richard Taylor, Julie Watelko, Chief of Staff. And they all had meetings where they talked about some different issues, and they all pointed out some things that were off our radar. You know, how can we save money? We established a site diesel fuel for city equipment, saving about $15,000 annual because of that, and they came from frontline troop. Implemented the committee recommending tracking of possible water loss. So, you know, we have water loss in these communities, and there's a certain percentage that every city's going to have. You're never going to be a completely tight system, but that's an important asset, and we have to be tracking that all the time. So we've implemented processes where we can go and make sure that we're tracking water loss. You could have a water main break that goes underneath a ditch that's always got water in it. And that's always going to be a tough one to find out what those are at. So they're drilling down to our system to make sure that valves are closed that need to be closed, open that need to be open, and there's zero leaks. So we're working to track that down as much as possible. A lot of those ideas came from our frontline staff. Also outside storage facility, and hats off to Tifa. Any Tifa board members here tonight? I see one in the back there. Thank you to Tifa, because Tifa's been really getting involved to help our community out too. And they are going to be funding some improvement to the DPW that'll protect our assets and our equipment over there, because that is in a Tifa district. So hats off to the Tifa for jumping in and helping solve some issues. Some of the things that came out of the mayor's office, community events we're trying to push and make Romulus that fun place to be. The Wounded America event. We had that event last year. It's July 8th this year. Patriots in the Park is what we call it. And it's a motorcycle event that helps our local veterans out. And we've done this for years. But now you have Mayor Woolley, myself, Mayor Bozzi out of Dearborn Heights, and Mayor Swift out of Riverview. It's a friendly competition to see what city can do the best display of patriotism. So last year we had Patriots in the Park. We brought the motorcycle ride to come right through there. Free food to our veterans. We had activities for the kids out there, so look forward to it. Put it on your calendar, come out, wave your flag, wear your red, white, and blue. Last year I think Riverview did the best display of patriotism, so we're going to try to outdo them this year. Also, funds from this event last year helped fund the 50th event we did in the park. You see the kids we had out there dancing and doing their thing with it was the 50th anniversary of Greece. So does that make you feel old? Who remembers when that came out, right? Also, we're doubling down on our efforts for cleaning up our city. The citywide clean sweep day. We had a great participation this year. I love it. We're having our Romulus Eagles football team out. So hats off to Coach Cersei for bringing his guys out and get them involved in our community. We're going to keep working to bring events like that and also take care of our city. City Treasurer's Office. Stacey Page here, you have her, she's recognized by County Treasurer Sabri for outstanding service and dedication. And also Tracy Leniger, she's also our chair for our Goodfellows program. They do a lot for our community and our friends and our needy families around Christmas time. And also right here in the picture we have State Representatives Jim DeSena and Dylan Wagala. They were out for the MLK walk. Dylan, I seen you come in here late. Raise your hand. Where you at? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. You're right behind the light where I can't see you. Our city clerk's office, things going on over there. Hats off to Dejan Hockenhall for recently being recognized as our deputy clerk and also Michigan Professional Clerks Association. Go ahead and clap for that. I heard that. Great job, Dejan. And also Ellen. And, you know, you see right here in the bottom, it's hard to read right here. But Ellen did a great job adding an additional level of security and coming up with a process for our elections. After sitting with her as she runs through the election security process, I feel a lot better and a lot safer in how we do elections and the level of detail she goes through. So, but this process that she brought up has been adopted by the state. They're going to be doing it throughout the state. She's also doing things to train other clerks in other communities. So give it up for Ellen. Great job, Ellen. Where you at? She's not only an outstanding voice, but she's an outstanding clerk. And then this is an idea she had too. We had talked about in some informal conversations about Juneteenth and not really understanding what that holiday was, and it was a newer holiday. And she decided this year she wanted to do an event, and it's going to be a more inclusive and a more educational process. So coming out on Juneteenth, vendors, food, entertainment, and fun, and Ellen's going to be running that. So great job, Ellen. This is the inner workings of the team. Financial services. Maria Ferris does a great job with her team over there, and some of the goals that they've had, you know, through assessing, and Julie Albert and what they do over there. They secured a $365,000 grant to replace our street lights with LED lights. That's going to save the city 30 to 40% annually by converting over to street lights. So you'll see them start running that program this year, converting all of our street lights over there. And it's additional creative ways to find grant monies to save the city tax dollars money. Purchasing, we talked about the diesel fuel system over the DPW, consistent and effective bidding process, netting significant savings in participating in regional and statewide cooperative contracts. Really what that's talking about is when you see us piggyback on that. If one city's already gone through the process, why reinvent the wheel? If we know what a Ford Explorer costs or an F-350 costs, we can go through that process, we can buy similar items and save ourselves a lot of time. Finance, the McCraight administration has underspent the approved budget in fiscal years 21-22 and 22-23 of both years. So this year's budgeting process, we did see an uptick in a few different things. One was roads we need to invest in there, and we know about that, and also public safety. And you'll hear more about public safety and our commitment to improve that too. So, but it's a keynote. I want to make sure that you know that we're being, you know, fiscally sound with your tax dollars, and we've underspent the approved amount in both years we've had so far out of the gate. Moving it along. Almost $35,000 in residential water assistance. We all know through COVID and some people were out of their jobs and they had a hard time. We wanted to find ways to assist those residents. We worked with Wayne Metro, with MISTA, with a WRAP program to find some assistance for our residents. It's a basic human need to have some water on. Nobody likes to raise rates. We have to have a sustainable system, and some people might have issues going on, so we wanted to find some solutions for them. So almost $35,000 in savings to our residents, or assistance to our residents over the last 12 months. Wayne Metro has also been another good find. We're leasing part of the old court building to them. Been a great asset to a resident. If they come over to the city hall and are having trouble with them, we can send them right over to the old 34th District Court building, and where Wayne Metro can plug them into a system. Technology services. Can't say enough about IT. You know, we can't function in this world anymore without a strong IT department. Steve and Jen and that team just, I mean, they're always on point. I don't care if they're on vacation. Yeah, give it up for them. Always on point. And with a guy who, I'm not tech savvy, so with a guy like me, they're going to be on call quite a bit. So hats off to that team and solving all of our issues there. Some of the key things we're working on right now is our new body cameras, get them implemented and installed. Those are not a want anymore. Those are a need, especially with the issues you have going on with PD. It's going to protect the residents or the people interacting with the PD, and it's going to protect the city and our officers. So that was important, and we had to make that a priority. Creative solutions to secure city buildings and personnel. They're working on ways now to make sure that all our city buildings, with the things that are going on, we want to make sure our staff is all secure. Security training, it's at an all-time high. These guys are trying to hack our software all the time. All these emails are coming in. And Steve and his team has been very proactive in making sure we're safe, and we have an extensive firewall system to keep our system safe in Romulus. Also completed the Motorola radio system upgrade for police and fire. Important to have our communications with our first responders. Over on the side you see a chart here. This is the level of detail we look at all the time. Every week we have a team meeting. You'll hear it, it's the accountability team meeting when we talk about what work orders they're doing and what they got done. So this is the level of detail we watch out and we check out on every other week. So we're really hands-on as far as watching our teams and what they're doing. And every department's got to develop a scorecard right here. Human resources, still a great team we have over there. They're saving the city a lot of money because they're part-time. But Kevin Lowson and Angela do a great job over there in that team. Also, Dana Ferguson, Dana Shauna, they've been around here a long time. They do a great job. And they implemented some new programs for us by expediting the hiring process. We want to make it easier, especially when we get a chance to onboard somebody. Payroll efficiencies. But the big one right here, I like this one, Policy 38. We talk about the things that are going on right now. We developed the diversity and equity inclusion unanimously approved by City Council, but we implemented Policy 38 to make sure we have a diverse, equitable, and an inclusive environment for our city employees. So hats off to HR. Is anybody from HR here today? There's Mr. Lozen, I see him back there. Kevin loves to come to meetings too, so. Endeavor to improve and simplify process. We're always trying to find a way to make it easier. Governments have a way to get bogged down in the rules, and we always want to try to find a way to make it simpler for us to use. And work on communication. So you'll see the Romulus community paper that we got out now. We heard again through process. Everybody does different ways of social media, but we asked people during the campaign, how do you get your media? How do you get your information? We heard time and time again, I want to have a paper back to my house again. So we came up with the community connection. Hats off to Mike Laskaska for this and the work he did here. He built this program, and this building is, yeah, give him a round of applause for that. That's a nice magazine that comes out. I'm proud of that when it comes out. It's got information from our departments, what's going on in our community, it lets the residents know what's going on. It's also advertising. So he's been able to creatively leverage relationships with our, our corporate sponsors in the city that pay for that paper and also advertise them as well. So we're going to continue to evolve that. If you have it and you have ideas and want some input on that, call us, let us know what we're trying to do there. But it's been a great job. Coming soon, Mike's working on redesigning that, working on live stream, video on demand, social media integration, also getting a bigger presence on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We know that's where everybody's getting their information. So we're going to have old school hard copy, and we're also going to have all the latest in technology. So you'll see that all transition here in the next few months. Recreation, huge part of any community. When we say community, recreation is a huge part. So Colleen hit the ground running. She's back full time with us now. Colleen, where are you at? It was refreshing when I left the house tonight. I heard the Romulus Eagles playing ball over there. But it's so sad to me with what a thriving Little League we had for years, and it's gone away. So Colleen decided to bring it back, but bring it back little by little. Let's bring back a generation that plays ball. So she started T-ball, and had a huge success right there. You can see the kids coming out playing T-ball little by little. And then as these kids grow, they're going to have that baseball in their system. Basketball league, archery over at EJ's doing a great job with that. The kids are loving that program. Also the volleyball league and gymnastics. And then when you see over here in the lower corner is the mother and son event. That was a great twist. You know, there was nothing for mothers and sons to do, so they had 80s night in bowling over at local bowling alley. So great job with those community events and recreation. That's a huge part in a community builder. That's how I knew as a kid who was living in the next neighborhood over. That's how parents got to sit in the bleachers next to each other and talk about what's going on in their community. So we can't underscore enough how important recreation is for our families to have an opportunity to thrive here. Some of the changes we got to our parks right here. Opportunity Park. That's an oval walking track right behind our rack. Has anybody ever seen that out there yet? No? See, nobody knew where it was at. We'll be opening it up here. Mike, when are we going to do our ribbon cutting over there? Probably August of this year? Possibly. I keep ratcheting it up on Mike. It's a little bit unfair. But anyways, Opportunity Park, you see the before and the after. The team was able to capture a $70,000 Kaboom grant. They partnered with Gordon Structures. It's a local Romulus resident. They rebuilt the bridge over there. You can see the work they did on the bridge. It was a dilapidated bridge. Let me go back up. And the parkway was overgrown. It wasn't secure, so we worked to put some LED lighting over there. The bridge got rebuilt, and the equipment will be coming soon. There's going to be playground equipment, the story walk, interpretive signage, but it's going to be a really nice place for Opportunity Park right behind our rack. Oak Brook Park, another fun parks millage there, $25,000. We brought new playground equipment and a sunshade for the dog park. If you're not familiar with that, it's right on the side of the Merriman subdivision over there off of, or actually Oak Brook subdivision off of Eureka Road. So you have the dog park that's heavily used. I was surprised when they did that. It's heavily used in the dog park and also the playground equipment over there. So we're trying to make sure we have a park established on that side of town as well. So we're going to put a new sunshade out there, and we heard from the residents what they needed, and also some new playground equipment. Mary Ann Banks Park is another one, $112,000 grant we captured. We're going to do the ice rink. It's going to be a combination ice rink and for pickleball. You're going to have some inclusive, barrier-free playground equipment that's going to be installed out there, new benches installed, and new trash receptacles as well. So I'm excited about that, having it in our heart of our downtown. Crowds welcoming. We want to have some cool events in our downtown, and you're going to hear us change some things up. And we're always, you know, I'm excited about Jerry's new role, but we're always going to be ranching it up a little bit. If you continue to try to do the same thing and expect different results, you're never going to get there. So we want to change some things up. The holiday train. I think it's only 10 seconds people in this city like trains. And everybody loses their mind when you throw some Christmas lights on, so they're all out there. And hats off to our fire department. Is Steve here tonight? Did he make it off duty? Anyhow, last year, the trains came through from CSX. They broke down on the tracks, and that was blocking the Christmas train, so they couldn't come through. Solution-oriented culture. Thied and his team went over there and said, what do you need? And they needed some more water for the braking system. They brought a fire truck out. They gave them a couple hundred gallons of water, and they're on their way. So I'm going to hang my hat on our Romulus Fire Department saved the Christmas train. So that got them a stop in our city last year. So great job adding to that event, but it was a great event with the tree lighting, the kids. We had the band out, the high school band to play some Christmas carols out there, and then we had the burn barrels were out there, and people could make s'mores and hang out and wait for the Christmas train. We did hear a lot of, can't they get it to come through sooner? You got to remember this is a train. We'd love to see it come through, but they have a route that they got to run. So sometimes we might sit out there a minute and watch that thing, but it is what it is. DPW infrastructure projects. Again, we're going to talk about grant fundings and opportunities right here. Wayne Road Sidewalk Program. Our team was able to capture $2 million grants that's got to be used for sidewalks. The first thing I said when they gave us the grants, it was like, can't we use it for the road system? Nope, this is for walkability and walking paths. So the two programs we're running this year are going to be the Wayne Road Sidewalk from Wick Road down to Van Born, because it's a clear need for it over there. You can see the cow path where residents are walking, so we're going to install that sidewalk. It'll probably start next year. They're working right now with some property issues and making sure they're acquiring right away. And also we're going to start a program in our neighborhoods where we're doing some sidewalk repair. Going through different ones. We're starting in the Meadows and Oak Brook where they have the heaving panels. We all know about them, and we want to make sure they're taken care of. Road replacements, here on River Drive, Wayne and Ecorse intersection. That's a joint effort with Wayne County. I've seen Al Hayda sneak in here too, so thank you for your assistance with the Wayne and Ecorse intersection. We all know it's under construction right now. The whole intersection shut down. And we're trying right now to control the traffic. I've never seen people behave this badly in traffic in my life. So we're going to do what we can to keep working to curb that behavior and working with the county on that one. But that's an important project, long overdue. It had to be done. And completed phase 3 of the Beverly Road project, and also continue to watch our safe drinking water program. This one, hats off to our guys at the DPW. They did a great job. If you haven't driven by there and see that sign that we have, we used to have a crooked old sign out there. Those guys did a great job. Those signs are about $80,000 to install when you do them. And our guys did a great job, and pennies on the dollar, and took some initiative, poured a new foundation out there, did the work in-house. So give it up to our DPW guys for all the work they do. Did a beautiful sign out front. You see a couple of our workers right there. And then also there's a program we did this year that we want to keep including our kids. And so we started a program with our snowplows where they all get to have programs where they named our snowplows. So the kids can go on the internet next year. They'll be able to track our trucks through GPS to see where their plow truck's at. But you can see the badge we have on this one for the Wick Road Scholars. So they had it where they chose their own name for their truck. We put their logo on that. And then they get to follow their trucks around and their routes, and they'll know, their roads are cleared for them in the morning so they can go to school. Did you hear that, Ben? So you quit calling school? If our guys out there working? Where's he at? Where you at, Ben? Seen the superintendent in here somewhere. But anyways, and also DTE program. We captured some grants in there. We at the Peter C. Bird Historical Home, and we put new trees in over there if you haven't seen it. Congratulations to Elijah Smith. Eli, are you here tonight? There he is. Long-time DPW employee, always a hard worker. He got on my radar probably about 6 years ago when Roberto was big on. I was like, hey, we want to know who we're watching and who's up and coming. And I'll be honest with you, Eli wasn't even on my radar for something like that. But then when Roberto mentioned him, I started watching him even closer. So we had an opening with Jerry's transition to DPW or into DDA. Eli threw his hat in the ring, went through the interview process. We had independent interviewing process. He came out head and shoulders above the rest and got the job. So congratulations, Eli, and doing a great job over there. CDBG money, we were able to capture some grant money for our roads. We instantly looked at Brant Road as far as the amount of traffic that goes down there and how bad that road is. That's a failed road. I know everybody's got a bad road in their area, but if you travel through Oak Brook and you saw Brant Road, it's embarrassing. So we decided to put all those funds right there with some additional funds from the city of Romulus to finish the reconstruction on Brant Road and wrap that up this year. So thank you, Wayne County, for that as well. So I appreciate the CBG money. So. Senior Center, Rose's doing a great job with our seniors over there. They're back up and running now. They're doing more programs now. It seems like there's a lull in what we were offering to our seniors because of COVID. Now they're back at it. We want to make sure everybody's safe and secure, but I think Rose is having a lunch for them every other month, and now we got Tiger games going back up. Is Rose here tonight? Yep, Rose. Maria, great job. What I love about this picture right here, three of the four drove my bus to school. This one just drives me nuts, but those drove my bus to school. So that's community right there. So here's some of the more substantial things they're doing. Yeah, she's doing some fun things, but 197 residents served, 34,000 hot meals served, and also over 5,000 liquid meals. So making sure that we're working with Forgotten Harvest and Meals on Wheels to take care of our seniors that might not be able to get out and about. So great job, Maria and Rose and the team at the Senior Center. Innovative and new ideas. Like I said, we got to keep trying to reinvent different things. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and looking for different results. So we're trying new and innovative ideas wherever we can. And this was one that was right under our nose as well. Jerry stepped up, said he was interested in taking a job as a DDA director. Jerry, great job. Thank you for stepping up. Jerry's always had a heart for this community. If you know Jerry, you know he believes and he's got a definite passion for this community. He's a Romulus guy. He's an Eagle through and through. And that's part of what we're trying to do. You're going to hear that reoccurring theme to bring these people back to our community who want to be a part and see us go to the next level. So Jerry, you're a huge part of that turnaround we had in that mindset at DPS. And now I'm looking forward to what you're going to do in the downtown area. So stay tuned with Jerry. He's got some things going up. We've tasked him up. We've been pretty aggressive with him. One of the things he's coming up with right now, you'll see the banners coming up here shortly. Jerry, do we have a timeline on those banners yet?
It's going to be about another week or so. They've rebranded them and refitted them. So another week or so and they should be down there like that. So we saw different communities and what they were doing. And in the Mayorsville, I'll tell you what we try to do is steal ideas off each other. But I noticed District D in Detroit, and that's really how they coined it when they were redoing the work down there. So we came up with this, our district. It's our district. So we put the R out there. It's our district. So it's not going to be the historic downtown. We're rebranding this thing as our district. So that's where it's going to be our cultural community center. We're going to come down and have some fun. And we've also tasked him up with stepping up the Pumpkin Fest. We have, the Rotary runs the Festival Lights on Friday night.
night, all under the umbrella of the Pumpkin Festival and the group, the great work that that team does. But we also have the group that's doing the Unity Day on the park on Sunday. So there's another from UAB doing the Unity Day. It's another part to make that event bigger. So we want to go bigger, not smaller. So you'll see some things come out there, but you'll see the rebranding on the art district. And it also sounds downtown. Trying some things up different. We wanted to go over quality over quantity. So instead of having a lot of different shows, we trimmed the budget a little bit and we decided to put it into bigger bands that will bring more people from this area into our downtown and see what opportunities are there. So we're going to try different things to see what works. We want input from you guys, but these are pretty big bands that are coming out and they all have their own followings that we're bringing out. We're doing the Romulus Alumni Night with the first call crew. That's top 40, so it's all maroon and white, so get your maroon and white and your Eagle gear and come on out. Also, Sunset Boulevard is playing its 80s music. That's going to be a good 80s night, and then Motor City Soul on August 11th. So those are big bands, big followings. We're trying to bring more people from outside just our community to come and see what a good opportunity they have in our downtown. So stay tuned on those. And like I said, hopefully we fill it up when we have great weather for those events. So good job, Jerry, come up with new ideas and turning the heat up a little bit down there. You see, everybody's seen the gap between the buildings down there next to the old market, and we're working with some innovative ideas. And you see right here a quick rendering that Chandler put together. Give it up to Chandler for the great job she did on this presentation too. Where's Chandler at? We said, yeah, this is what it looks like, but that's not too impressive. We want to do, something a little bit different. So she got busy with the graphics, and these are some of the things we're working on to put in that little alleyway across from Artisan Reserve to make another wayfinding space, a place to come into our community to see what the opportunities are, and stay tuned on that one. So I'm excited about the things that are going to be happening in our downtown. Also welcome the Greca Martial Arts Studio, the Legacy Learning. They've been a great member of the community down there for the daycare center, and also the Spartan 6 Tactical Defense. They're recently into the new shop. Jerry, they opened yet? We're working on a ribbon cutting for them?
Next week, Daddy's going to be trying to open up, and he'll be in touch with you for the ribbon cutting.
Gotcha. So, and that's a long-time Romulus resident. Been here in this community, had that shop somewhere else, and he wanted to move it to his town. So, looking forward to see what he offers our community. This is another interesting portion. We talk about different things we got to try, new and innovative ideas. You've heard us talk about the Nest. You've heard us talk about Laura Sigmund. We've tried some creative ways to fund old buildings that we have downtown and put people in there at a low rent lease for a business incubator. Been some bumps and bruises along the way. Like I said, we're being transparent about that thing. There's some things that we can do better and do different. We're going to continue to work on that process. But the intent was really to fill our buildings up with a viable business, give somebody who's an entrepreneur a chance to take that next step and develop and grow their dream in our downtown. And we've put them into those buildings, but there's a second step. Do they have a good, viable business plan? Where are they at? And that's where Laura comes in with her wealth of knowledge. So here you see Laura Sigmund in this picture right here, also with Kim Glenn. She's a local resident that does a lot of grant work for residents too, and she put on a program up here at the Nest. So we're using the old chamber building. It's a DDA building for the Nest, and we'll let Laura tell a little bit more about her story.
Best Practices Consulting Services, we're actually in our 15th year. May 8th was actually our anniversary. So for the last 7 months, we've been trying to really power the Nest here in the Romulus downtown district area with the intention to support small businesses who need technical assistance. Maybe you need access to capital, maybe you need a business plan, maybe you're trying to figure out what business you want to start, maybe you want to situate into one of our vacant properties in the Romulus area. That's what the Nest is actually here to do, is to support you in growing no matter where you really are in that spectrum of being in a small business mindset. We're really excited because the partnership between Best Practices Consulting Services and the city of Romulus is one that's extremely unique. We sort of power the entire Nest, so we've moved our office directly inside of the Nest so that we can be on site and on demand to support those who have inquiries. So if you go over to the City Hall and you're asking for some resources or research, they're going to send you back over here. And then we tag, we partner back and forth with what that may look like around your expansion, your business needs, your access to capital. I mean, we're just very happy to be in the partnership so that we can support everything small business. I love the fact that the partnership allows us to both feed and be fed from the city. We work collaboratively, so it's not one or the other. It's a joint effort. We are very interested, we being Best Practices, in seeing this be a destination. that's also part of the mayor's One Romulus plan. So this is a fantastic opportunity for those of you who might be interested in coming to the city of Romulus. It's a very easy method of doing business. Few barriers, very, very easy to do business with. When you think about city administration, fees and fee structures, permitting, licensing, I think this is a great place to actually start and launch or even expand your new business opportunity.
And Laura's doing a great job. Laura, you here tonight? These lights, I can't see who's in the audience. But anyhow, Laura's doing a great job down there. She's a wealth of knowledge. If anybody you know is thinking about starting their own business, or starting an entrepreneurial exercise, or they want a new home for their business, use Laura down there. Go down there and talk to her. Pick her brain. See what she's got going on. Again, new and innovative ideas. We're trying to jumpstart some things in our downtown. And it's also catching her, the attention of others. Channel 4 has been out there twice. I don't know if you've noticed it. And they've done an initial report. They did a follow-up report. And it's also got Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib on board with helping us out, too, because she likes the initiative of trying to grow entrepreneurship. So here she did some work for us, and we received $1 million grant for our downtown. It can be used in different pockets. Creative, innovative, an innovative district. We can use it for small businesses support. We can also use that money for invest in workforce development and program and operational administrative costs. So there's $1 million that we have right now to invest in our downtown in different areas to help somebody grow a business down there and be successful. Economic development. A lot of people didn't see this one coming. Kevin Krause, where are you at? I didn't even see it coming, but Kevin's worked closely with me. I've had a close personal relationship with him. He's worked closely personally with me as a fire chief and doing a great job over there. But he's also heard my picadillos and my issues and my complaints and my progress on the economic development and building side of things. So when he approached me with the idea, we couldn't find the right economic development director. We noticed tremendous opportunity. We interviewed and interviewed and interviewed. We made a couple offers. We didn't lock down the right person. Well, the right person was right here under our nose. So I was proud to make that transition and switch Kevin over there. Key part of that was making sure we didn't drop in our fire service. So working on that transition and that relationship, but Kevin's hit the ground running over there. He's great at that role. He's so tied in with the grants. He's been a huge part of the success we've had with a lot of these grants coming in there. But as far as his working right now with his economic development and these teams and the people who want to invest in Michigan, Kevin's doing a great job. Give it up for Kevin right now. You know, Kevin's got the same mindset I have as far as this is the deal, this is in front of me, I want to get it closed, I want to get it done. That's why we have successes right now in the Romulus Trade Center. We're getting things done. We're finishing these deals, and Kevin's right there with me, lockstep on that. We found this old article in the mayor's office, and I thought it was very interesting. It's from 1970, and it talks about how we had just became a city and how they had anticipated within years we're going to have about 90,000 people in this city. Look right here, you're not going to be able to see it. Today there are about 19,000 residents dwelling in 5,000 homes. Today we're at about 25,000 and 6,000. So what happened to that growth? I can tell you right now it was from jobs. My family landed here because it was jobs and opportunities right here. So the things we're working on with Romulus Trade Center might not be that spectacular thing everybody wants to see. It's not a water park, it's not a casino, it's jobs, and it's money, and it's economic development, and that's got everybody's attention turned into Romulus right now. So with those things, they were onto that. They knew what was going on here. The biggest taxpayer in the city was Kelsey Hayes, and the biggest job provider, and it created traffic through our downtown, and that supported the stores and the shops and the party stores and all those different things. That's what economic development is built around, about creating traffic, creating opportunities, and having jobs in the area. The first thing a developer will say is they'll look at the map and they'll look at median income and they go, where's the money at? So you got to show them. So I thought this was a very interesting article. You know, it talked about, you know, what they thought was going to happen to Romulus and where it was going to be. It's going to be a main hub in Wayne County. Well, we're working on that right now. It's maybe taking us a few years to get behind it, but right now we're going to become that hub. Right, Al? Yep. Economic development. Here we are. Warren Evans doing the State of the County speech. Right there, Romulus is highlighted in two of their economic developments with the Kroger and the Romulus site selection for Ford Ion Park. Excited about that. We talked about the Wayne and Ecorse intersection, economic development, taking care of that whole intersection. This was all the demolition of that building that was there, and also you see the Kroger fulfillment doing the final ribbon cutting there, and they're up and operating. Right now there are about 300 jobs over there. They're anticipating when they're fully operational and they're up to speed, they're going to be about 500 jobs at one site. So, and right here you see us, we had a mixer there with DCC and CWW, all the community leaders in this region came out there, and everybody wanted a piece of the Kroger action. They saw that that and like, wow, what a great opportunity. And they were all asking about how far these guys go out and how much they deliver. So if you haven't had a chance to use that app yet, make sure you use it. It's a great asset to have in our community. Economic development, Destination Downriver. Ron, I seen you out here somewhere. Where you at, Ron? Ron's been a good partner over there with the Destination Downriver. People are saying, hey, why are we working on Destination Downriver? What is that? We want to continue to tell our story. We want to share outside our boundaries. We talk about regional things. So you bring in the Destination Downriver, and they brought in Under the Radar. So if you haven't caught it, Under the Radar it's on a, what's the word I'm looking for? PBS. It's on PBS, and they have a show where it talks about all these really cool little hot spots in Michigan that they stop, all these little one-offs through the UP, northern Michigan. Well, now they're doing a thing in Downriver, and they're highlighting a lot of the little one-offs in the Downriver area, and they wanted to come to Romulus and do a story on one of ours. So we sent them over to the upscale warehouse. They sit there and they talk to Vince and Carol. They like the story. They like the Romulus residents reinvested in an old building and what they built. And if you haven't had a chance to go by there, you got to go by the upscale warehouse. They had great live entertainment there on Friday and Saturday nights. And it's a great environment, great food. But watch on May 28th on PBS, you're going to see the upscale warehouse highlighted on Under the Radar Michigan. So we're going to continue to spread the word and help generate business for them, and hopefully they'll succeed. Romulus Trade Center, that team's in the house tonight. Where's North Point at? Raise your hand, guys. You'll hear from North Point here, and we're talking about relationships we build with these guys. It's not just gonna be a one and done when you build here in Romulus. We want to have continued relationships. So hats off to North Point for working with the city of Romulus. These guys are meeting with Economic Development Director Kraus every other week to talk about who's going to be in these sites, who's going to be there, and what's going to be at these sites, and what we can expect. And we continue to have that relationship. It's not just like I got my permit and I'm running. They're listening to us and they're working with us. So it's been a great partnership and a relationship. So here you see the shovels in the ground when they first broke ground. And if you haven't seen over there, you got to drive over there and you see what's going on right now, because they are flying out there. And we're allowed to announce today about our new tenant we have over there. So we locked in our first tenant, Siva. It's a component of the Ford logo, right? And there will be about 250 jobs in that site. So hats off to you guys for landing those guys. Congratulations on that. 250 more jobs coming to our community. And I'll let you hear some more from the North Point team.
One of the words that we hear get used over and over is partnership. And what does a true partnership mean? And I think sometimes that word can be overused. But what we find with the city of Romulus is they jump in side by side with you in good times and in bad. And that way it's really a marriage. So there's a trust between both sides. And in a development project, there's no shortage of challenges. So one great example, a challenge that we hit just this spring. So we'd had some time delays and some issues with permitting, and what we were able to do is pick up the phone and the mayor answers your call. His staff answers your call. What happens when there's a challenge? City council is ready to jump in. They understand. They're hosting events. They're doing things. They're pushing for the same result too. And to have a community that's so invested and accessible and not just standing back from afar and saying, hey, do what you said you're going to do. We're going to be right there with you. That's really unique, and something that we value with the relationship we have with the city is you can pick up the phone or you show up and they're right there with you every step of the way. The way Romulus approaches development is really special and something that we cherish. This first tenant that signed actually beat that projection, both on number of jobs and the wages they're going to create. And one of the unique pieces with the city of Romulus that we've agreed to is that we're requiring each tenant to give Romulus residents a 2-week look ahead at those jobs. And so it's a tremendous opportunity for citizens here in the city of Romulus to jump in and grab those positions if they're qualified. And so we think that's something that's great for the city and their residents, but also for the tenants too, right? To have someone that's close to home and proud of where they live and where they work.
What a great idea that was. So Romulus residents will have a 2-week window to apply for those jobs when they have them there and make sure that we have first access to first dibs to land those quality jobs. So first one's in, and that's what brings the development. Even when they reached out to us a few months ago and said, hey, there's a hiccup, Royal Farms was the anchor on the retail component that's going to be the development along Wick. They had backed out. They didn't like the way the economy was at the time. They were too far away from their supply chain. They had some heartburn over it. They said they're off. So rather than hide that from us, North Point came to us. We put our heads together and said, hey, how do we figure it out? Who's the next one up? We know that this is a great opportunity for somebody to invest, and the next one up was Sheetz. We had a list of people coming in. Sheetz was the one that we talked about. They're big down south, Ohio, Pennsylvania. They wanted to break in the Michigan market, so I'm happy to say, and I like it even better than Royal Farms, that they're going to be breaking ground there, and they're going to be building Sheetz on that site. So they're under contract too now, right? So Sheetz is on board. So those are the things that are coming here, that those jobs will create, and money in that area is going to continue to have interest and more economic development of the retail and commercial side that we want to see as residents down Wick Road and continue into our hotel corridor. Another thing I tasked Kevin up with real quick, and he's done a great job over there at the RAC. The RAC is leading the industry as far as recreation departments in this area, I believe. It was starting to show its age, and we were trying to change some things up over there. So Kevin went through system to make sure we have a good business program over there. We're going to develop it right, and we're going to continue to be up there. Right now, a lot of communities are getting grant dollars to build recreation centers, and they're coming around looking at all these different communities, and they're liking this one. And I'm getting phone calls left and right, and they want to know how we did it, what we did to get there, and how we maintain it. So it's important right now to maintain that for our residents at a high level. So some of the repairs that he's done over there, and I got to give Tifa, again, another nod. If it wasn't for Tifa, we'd have probably mothballed this building. We'd have had to, with the turn in the economy and the drop in tax rates. So Tifa has helped fund this in the amount of $835,000 as far as keeping this place top notch and keeping the lights on. So thank you, Tifa board. Can't be able to see you back there. Great job. We couldn't do it without you. People talk about what's the benefit of having a TIFA. That's the benefit of having a TIFA. Creatively using those dollars to help those districts and keeping them in-house. So how do we find creative ways to use those monies to benefit our residents? This is one of them. You see the new equipment, new lockers, a lot of different improvements over there. But even the pool area, they're working on the slide to reopen that this year. There's some structural issues right now. Like I said, it was just starting to show its age a little bit. It was time to redo some things, and Kevin's done a great job with that team, reevaluating and doing some things to keep that building on top and to make it a destination location for us. Additional grant monies. You know, they say grants, we go looking. This whole team goes running after them. So this year we were able to capture $7.6 million in grant awards. Those covered different things from wages and benefits for firefighters, Marianne Banks Park renovations, business support, placemaking, workforce development, Wayne Road sidewalk, Brant Road reconstruction, police department body-worn cameras, fire dispatch alert, the Lucas Auto chest compressor, the Wayne Road neighborhood sidewalk repair program, 3 sets of firefighter turnout gear, paramedic tuition wages for training to make better service for our first responders, bulletproof vests for our police officers, new hires at RPD, justice assistance grant, the Huron River Drive resurfacing, Osga resurfacing, and lead service lines. So give it up to the team for going out and capturing $7.6 million in extra funds. That's going to benefit the residents. That's not coming out of our general fund. Exceeding expectations of our community. We want to raise that bar because we know you expect a lot out of us. Jeff Kemp, where you at, Jeff? Raise your hand over here. If you haven't met Jeff, he's been a great asset to the team. We interviewed a lot of candidates for economic development director and also filling my shoes over in the building department, and we didn't get the right person for the right feel. And I tell Jeff this now because we played it cool when we met him. We knew as soon as we met him and interviewed him, he was the guy for the job. He's been a great fit over there. He's solution-oriented. His career almost parallels my career as far as starting in the trades young and getting into the inspection process young. And he liked that challenge that brings the Romulus as far as residential all the way to the high-end commercial industrial. So you see a lot of different things in building. If you're interested in that, this is the place to be. It's a career builder for you. So we met Jeff and we said, yeah, great interview, but we have a couple more to do today. We'll let you know. And then as soon as he left, I looked at the chief of staff and I said, did somebody just punk us? Because he's a perfect fit for this team. And she agreed, and we said, cancel the interview, let's get this guy on board. And I said, Jeff, you've done a great job over there with that team. Jim McGink is sitting right next to you. Jim was an awesome help in bridging that gap till we could fill that spot. So give both of them a round of applause right now. I know Jim hates to be acknowledged like that. But Jim, how long have you been with the city? 40 years? 40 years you've been with the city?
47.
47 years he's been with the city, and he worked his way up from labor all the way up. And he was instrumental in buying me time to find the right building director to put in that position. So thank you, Jim, for all you've done for this community over 47 years. So I was like 5 when you started? I'm just saying. Planning department, Carol May's where you at? Done a great job over there, working through our development, keeping the teams on point. And the phones are ringing right now. When we start turning dirt and walls are coming out of the ground over there, the phones are ringing, and we got her team running. She's doing a great job over there. Industrial commercial development right now. 37 different projects are approved or under construction right now. 37 different projects. I see the mayors out there, a lot of them are like, man, I wish I had 10. We got 37 going on right now in the city of Romulus, and that's a jobs and tax base for the future. So residential development, we just approved new 144 single-family homes. So that answers the rooftop issue that we have. We want to keep bringing in rooftops to our community. The building department last year, over 7,000 total inspections completed. They oversaw construction and development over $660 million of total cost, and 364 city of occupancies, certificates of occupancies issued. So that team over there is running. Also in the building department, Romulus Corporate Park. This is a joint effort with Ashley Capital. Ashley Capital has been a long time good relationship with this community. They're working on an area that's right behind the junior high and it fronts on Ecorse Road, but they're helping to redevelop a contaminated area to build Romulus Corporate Park. That's a $11.5 million total investment over there. Fairlane Furniture. This is also part of the Northland Road, Inkster Road development with D&G. So Aerostar, Fairlane Furniture, the Genesco development, and also the Opus Group, $20 million investment as they continue to bring opportunities to our community and tax base and jobs.
The main reason I chose Romulus, well, let me back up. So, you know, I hate to admit this, but I initially had planned on building this factory in a very large municipality in Michigan. And however, the bureaucracy of getting anything done in that municipality became quite the hindrance. And it got to the point where I honestly turned to my team to say, where's a good place to build in the state of Michigan? Because I want this factory to be in the state of Michigan. And we did actually interview a couple of other municipalities. And man, when we got to Romulus, there wasn't a comparison as to what I love about the city of Romulus, and more importantly, Mayor McCraight and his team, is that they're thinkers and they're solution-oriented. What took 18 months to try to get done in another municipality, we got done in 3 months here in Romulus. And honestly, it was just night and day. From the administration, even the city council, they asked the right questions, but they expeditiously made a great decision, had some amendments, ensured that those amendments were in there, and we got it done. And I'm happy to say that we've invested $24 million in Romulus to build a factory. It hasn't stopped at just building the factory. You know, we've had follow-up conversations with the mayor, with Kevin Krause, and the superintendent of Romulus Public Schools to say, how can we implement a training program within our factory for the citizens of Romulus? How can we ensure that Romulus residents have first crack at the employment opportunities at this factory? And so the other thing that I love about Romulus is it's a lasting relationship of how do we build the community and the factory together to build a longstanding relationship. And so that's really the main reason why we chose Romulus, is that they were solution oriented, they got things done, and if there was a snag, we figured out how to solve for it in a very expeditious manner.
Again, these videos, I could sit out here and talk at you guys all night long about these different issues, but I wanted to hear from their perspective. And these are the people who are choosing to come here to Romulus to invest and be partners. And you heard the word again, relationship. Relationship. We're working with the school system. So what Genesco is going to do, you've seen some of the construction there, modular components to multiple family dwellings. So under one roof, it's going to be like an assembly line for multiple family dwellings in there. And they build these modular components. So it's an ideal opportunity if we can foster a program with the schools for our kids to learn how to do a trade, how to swing a hammer, you know, how to run a wire, how to work on some plumbing. So it could be win-win, and that's the second level. So yeah, you've built it, now you're going to be operational. How do we maintain that relationship and also have some wins for having them here based in Romulus? So I just wanted to hear from the owner of that, Amin Irvin. Other things going on through the building department right now, we have the Avid Hotel. It's been approved. It's going over on Middle Belt Road near Northline on that site. Additional residential single-family dwellings. You see right here, I'll explain to you a little bit about code enforcement in Heartburn. So that right there is a site we all know is blighted. We all know it's right across the street. I've been chewing my arm off about that for 3 years, but there is a legal process we need to go through. You have to afford these people their opportunity and hear their day in court. And then once you get the owner to a certain level of court where they have to redo it, they sell the building to somebody else. So we have a new owner of the building right now. We've been successful in leaning on some of these people with code enforcement so hard that they lower the price and they sell it. And then you have somebody who can do some capital investment and some improvements. So that will be demolished this year. Well, if they continue on process, and they're going to build a new site there. And we talk about different areas right here. So Big Boys, if you have a chance, I was notorious for forgetting I was even there. I went into Big Boys one day, and the owner was struggling, didn't know who I was. He was talking about Big Boys ramping up or they're going to lose the franchise, and he was considering closing the doors. And I said, wait a minute, do you know what's coming in behind you? Do you know about the development that's coming in the trade center? He had no idea. And once he saw that and he saw the opportunities and the tradesmen that'll be eating there and the jobs are coming to the area, he reinvested. He put about $250,000 into his interior this year, and next year he'll be working on the exterior. So not only did he see the opportunity here to invest, he's doubling down on his efforts. And that also brought in Leo's. That's where the old Merriman Street Grill was. I think everybody's had a chance to pop in there, but it's a great opportunity for these guys. They love coming to the city of Romulus, but they see these opportunities here now because of development and also additional residential homes as well. This is along Middle Belt Road, new FedEx building. They came to the city of Romulus and wanted to build this thing right before COVID. COVID happened, slowed it right on down, but now they're back. And if you drive by there now, you see that going in there. That's a $200 million investment in our community. Key to this one, though, is it's right on the border, so yeah, guess what? We get to capture taxes out that building. So yes, it's in a TIF, but we're working on these different things, but that will be tax revenue generated from inside our airport fences. We all know that this is a little bit of a sore spot for us. So that's a win. Ordinance enforcement. Brooke Vasquez, she's a new addition to the team. Was she here tonight? Seen Ray here. They've been doing a great job ramping it up. I'll tell you right now, they've been very busy in our hotel district. We've been very focused on that, and there's a component in that community, and I'll get more into it when I talk about PD in that area that we want out, and they've been very proactive, letting these guys know if you're going to continue to own properties in Romulus, you're not going to just sit on your investment. You're going to raise that bar a little bit. You're going to step it up. We expect more out of you. And if you're not, you're going to sell the property and move on. You're not just going to sit down and let it be down. So they've done a great job stepping up. Give them another round of applause, you guys. These are some of the wins that they've had right here. We talk about the different sites. Barrington Apartments. Well, now it's the Maxwell. Again, leaned down so hard they sold the property, and now they're putting $4 million in capital improvement into that site. And you see the before and the after pictures. So they're still working on it. They've done a great job. I talked to PD, and we talk about data making great decisions. 397 calls for service for PD in that area last year alone. That number's dropped by 70%. In the last year with the new ownership over this. They've done a great job cleaning that place up and reinvesting in Romulus and seeing the opportunity that they have by 94 and 275, and they've continued to fix that site up. So they've done a great job right there. Also, we say had some issues with Inkster and Wick. Inkster and Eureka Road. This is a site they went after and they cleaned it up. The cars that were parked there, stolen cars getting dumped there. We want to make sure that, hey, that we've established a boundary with the city of Romulus. We're going to make sure that it's not acceptable to do those things here in our community anymore. So they've done a great job staying on those property owners. Again, this is just a blighted site. And they went after that one and stayed after them. There were some legal issues we had with that one, but we had to make sure we did it, and the city finally got it, and we had this thing cleaned up. Here's another one, it was a hoarder situation. You know, people create this situation over the years, and here they are. And we got to work with the court system and our ordinance department to stay on them and get these sites cleaned up. So great job of that team getting those things taken care of. Bill Wadsworth, where you at? We're going to give you a little bit more love here. A lot of time we talk about different things and naming parks and buildings after city officials and elected officials. I've never seen one more deserved than this one right here. Nobody's put more time and effort into that animal shelter than Bill Wadsworth, and he's been a great councilman over the years. So we decided to name that building the Councilman William Wadsworth Animal Shelter. And when are we going to do the ribbon cutting for that sign? Still working on that. Stay tuned for details on that, but we're looking forward to seeing everybody out there. And also, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention all the efforts that Dr. John Herman has done at our animal shelter for all those years, and he will be missed in the work he did at our animal shelter. So. Thank you, citizens of Romulus. The millage proposal that we had, 73%. I'm so proud of that number because it shows our first responders how much we back them. Yeah, clap for that. I believe that was the highest millage proposal on the ballot that year in the state of Michigan, the highest percentage of approval rate. So Romulus clearly said they support our first responders and they want to double down on our efforts, put the money where their mouth is. They want to see us continue in that direction, and they invested in our first responders. And that sends a good message to our first responders as well. So thank you, residents, for supporting that. We had another year that we could have put that off before it expired, but we figured let's get this thing done now, let our first responders know that we support them, and we can work on different issues. So great job there, residents. We appreciate that. Police department moving forward. A lot of different things we're doing to reinvest in our police department. If we don't have a safe community, you hear me say it a million times, we don't have a community. And the eye-opening moment for me was working closely with Chief Fonson and the job he's done with our police department over there, but having that radio in my kitchen counter and hearing the mess that they're dealing with in our community. My wife will be the first one to tell you, it angers me to no end to hear that that's going on. And I love hearing the effort that our police officers are putting out there to make sure they're taking care of it. So we've been able to secure funding, and we've had support through our city council. New vehicles are arriving, new bulletproof vests, body-worn cameras, new ARs for our team, so they're well equipped to go up against our bad guys. Authorized sworn officer strength increase, more training for our officers. And you'll see two different things we got going on right here, where the Western Wayne Mobile Field Force Team and also the Western SWAT. What that does, it ties us into, we loan an officer to these departments and one officer turns into 70. So we have these resources available to us. If Romulus doesn't participate in these programs, we won't have those resources to help us out. So those are huge wins for our police department. And again, we're trying to make sure that they know that we're keeping them safe. And this is a great idea right here. This recruiting team was an idea of Chief Fonson, but he sends them out to recruit from colleges, from different classes, different courts, but we want to bring those officers right here at Romulus, so they've done a great job. New hires, you can see that we've had an investment in public safety, 43 positions. Up to this year, we've approved up to 7 more positions. Some new faces you'll see around the city: Officer Shea Pappas, Marcus Williams, Theo Williams, Jared Bundy, River Gershaber and Clayton Neal, Solomon Green, Trent Fields, Gabriel Barkle, and Sarah Bruin are both helping on the dispatch. So welcome to the city of Romulus, you guys. We're going to continue to double down and reinforce in our public safety. Promotions, building from within. You see Lieutenant Miller, Sergeant Reese, Captain Harris, homegrown talent, and also Sergeant Haynes. That's brand new. Give it up for those two. It's homegrown Romulus Eagles. Captain Harris, Sergeant Haynes coming up through the ranks right there. Give them a round of applause, you guys. We all know them. We've all seen them around here. Also Lieutenant Smith, Sergeant Geringer, and Detective Lieutenant Salwa. So great job moving up through the ranks. We'll continue to work with our police department over there. And great job, Chief Fonson, for what you're building over there in our police department. This is actually pretty neat. So Chief Fonson and Judge Oakley have developed a program where we work on some training at a 34th District Court. It's the only academy class of its kind in the state of Michigan. And what they do is during their training as a police officer, they come here and they go through court systems and they see how court works and they work on testimony. So very proud to have that here housed at the 34th District Court. And it's a joint effort between, like I said, the court and also Chief Fonson. And it's been a very educational process for our officers. And see right here in the corner, you'll see new hire officer Jared Bundy Wendy Williams got the Academic Development Award. So not only is it benefiting other communities as well, and they're coming to the city of Romulus, it's benefiting our personnel as well. So great work on the police department side of things. Executive Leadership School. This is mandatory training for anybody coming up through the ranks. Chief Honest introduced this as well. So you see Captain Harris and the other officers here, they're coming up through the program, but they have to go through mandatory chief training before they accept the roles in this one. That way they know what the chief's going to be looking at. And I think it's a great opportunity to have these guys cross-train and also build up our future leaders. Police department also being out in the community. Yeah, they're chasing down bad guys and they're doing the things we need to get them to get done out there, but they're also being present in our community. The Bike with a Cop event that they do this year, it's going to be on a Saturday, July 29th. Mark your calendar. It's a great event. They're going to make it mobile this year, and they're going to go to the Hale Creek subdivision. The essay contest, they work with the Hale Creek students. Shop with a Cop. They're always out and doing positive things in our community as well as chasing down the bad guys. Also one with our community, the Christmas donations, the Candyland program, the Shop with a Cop, all these different things. It's important to see our kids and our residents out there interacting with police officers and knowing it's not just there for law enforcement. Yeah, we're an accredited department, but we continue to raise that bar. You know, it's not enough that we're accredited. We want to keep elevating the expectations for our department here in the city of Romulus and become one that others emulate. So great job, Chief Fonson, and the work you're doing over there with the police department. Other relationships we've brought in has been the COPE program, Hope Not Handcuffs, the Growth Works, the First Step. Those are all different programs that help somebody. You know, you've had an issue with law enforcement, you're struggling with your life. These are different programs that might be able to help somebody out. So it's not just a heavy hand of law enforcement. It's trying to give somebody a hand up. Some stats for our Romulus Police Department, 2022. 748 arrests. Over 5,000 citations issued, and over 22,000 calls for service. Those are numbers that are out there. I'm more impressed with the numbers that are coming down and the efforts these guys are putting. When we found out that our officers weren't in neighborhoods, we want to know why. Because there was real crime they had to take care of. And again, I'll keep giving Chief Finance credit for opening my eyes to this. These are some things some elected officials don't want to hear about, because then you got to talk about the crime in your issue. Well, I don't care talking about it as long as we're trying to fight it and we're pushing it out. So I'm more interested in those numbers. And to see the work we're doing at the Maxwell apartment and for that to drop 70%, that's a good number. And so we're continue working on driving that crime out of our community. We've added the flock cameras. For those who don't know, that's a license plate reader. Cameras are going to go at key intersections to help track the bad guys, but the bad guys know what that are. They know what those systems are. They'll stay out of Romulus when we start having those programs installed. So looking forward to those things going on, but I want to see those numbers continue to drop. Another number that's is a pretty good indicator here is 80% of the violent crime in this city is committed by people who don't live in this community. So we want to establish that boundary. Let them know that that's not here. That's not our Romulus residents. We don't have the crime. It's not us. It's people who are coming here. So we're going to work on where those issues are. We're going to isolate them, and we're going to make sure that there's a clear message that they're not welcome here in the city of Romulus. On to the fire department. I still got you guys. I don't hear anybody snoring out there. We all right? On to the fire department, and continuing that theme of bringing home that homegrown talent. Part of the transition for Director Krause over in economic development, we had to make sure that the bar that him and Chief Allison had raised at our fire department to attain that level of service, we want to make sure that it didn't go down at all. So we had to find the right person to help out and fill that gap that it was going to have after Kevin pulled out of there a little bit. And here we found Kenny Chapman. Kenny Chapman started his career. DC Chapman, are you here tonight? There he is over there. Give him a round of applause, you guys. He started his career here in the city of Romulus as a volunteer firefighter. Went on to multiple communities, worked his way up to the rank of chief, and here he is right now wrapping up his career where he started off in the city of Romulus. So anytime we can find that people who know the history of this community and have that passion for community, we're going to work to pull them back. So welcome back to the city of Romulus, DC Chapman. Excited to have you on a part of the team. Different stats and data we have here with the fire department. One of the key ones right here that's important was the $1.5 million in federal fire funding. It's the SAFER grant. We're going to be able to hire 6 new firefighters and first responders to better serve the residents of Romulus. Here we have some photographs from heavy truck rescue training. You know, they have these staged programs. I think our guys do a great job of being proactive and going out and learning how to do these things before they have to deal with them. And also right here you see the pictures of firefighter Gauss and firefighter Thompson, paramedic of the year and also firefighter of the year. Give them a round of applause, you guys. Romulus Fire Department, again, you know, they're out in the community, always being a part of it. They've always been there for us. Here you see them interacting with the kids, reading programs, teaching the kids, showing them what goes on out there, and making sure that they're familiar with our firefighters and they know that our firefighters are there to help them when they show up. One Romulus, getting into our schools. You saw that we came up with the One Romulus logo, and the schools had their billboards out there, which I love. Who's seen the billboards out there? Eagle Country, a little bit of community pride, does a great job. Dr. Edmondson, you out there? I seen him here earlier, but anyways, they came up with those billboards, they put them out there, and we thought that the Romulus portion of it, we wanted to incorporate that, and it further shows that we've incorporated that relationship with our schools and the city of Romulus. So we added that portion of it. So this is the logo you'll see out there now, and we just want everybody to know that we are One Romulus. Community schools, we're seeing progress here, and we're working with the schools. Here we have them at SWCRC. We took them out there for the first time. I've gone to those lunches before with Ron, those breakfasts rather, and I always thought, why isn't Romulus here? We see Aquinas schools, we see Taylor schools, different downriver schools, and Romulus was never there, so we started bringing our kids out to these programs. So, and we get to take them there and meet Congresswoman Debbie Dingle. So great opportunity for them. And here we have a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce, and also we took them down to the Regional Carpenters Training Center in Millwrights to expose the kids to the trades. So just continuing to work with our kids and show them what opportunities are out there for them. Career Fair 2023, this is another attempt to show the kids what options are out there. We all know we had strong trades in Romulus High School a long time ago. Those have gone away. We want to make sure the kids all know what options are out there and available to them. So we had the regional carpenters and millwrights, the pipe fitters, the sheet metal workers, electricians. We have them come here to be able to interact with the kids and talk about what opportunities might be out there. You know, we're not trying to steer anybody away from college, but there's some viable opportunities that are out there. We want to make sure these kids know about it. A lot of them have never even heard of the trades. And we also had, you know, Romulus DPW out there, fire department and police to show, you know, there's such a need right now with police and first responders, so we want to make sure these kids are aware of that. So great program. The kids have really been engaged, and some good actionables have come out of that. So we're going to continue to work with these kids to let them know what opportunities are out there for them. Just again, working with our schools. Here we are, March is reading month, so they invited me down to read to the kids, talk to them a little bit. We also had Senator Camilleri, State Rep Wagala, and Tina Taylor, Councilwoman Tina Taylor out there at a basketball game. There's our girls right there, always doing us proud. They are basketball royalty here in the city of Romulus. Again, regional championships, but look at this one right here. Wrestling program's back. Regional champions there. Give it up for those guys, you guys. Coach Searcy is working on a great program with the Romulus Eagles and also our band. Our band has just had a couple competitions that came out of there accredited. So they're doing great things here at the city of Romulus and Romulus High School. And I was talking to Principal Perry today and asking for some good data on academics as well too. And he said the graduation percentage is up and they're increasing there. So great work at Romulus High School. Keep trending on that tone right there, because we are all, you know, we're all going to prosper together. We're all going to sync together with our community schools. So we want to keep working with our kids. Different organizations that are out in our community and being a part of it. The Pumpkin Fest community. That team's always out there volunteering, doing different things. Here we have the Witches Night Out. It was a Goodfellas opportunity. So all the girls donned their hats and brooms and went out and had a great time. Also new to the community is the Kiwanis Club. Hats off to John West for stepping up and taking a leadership role in the Kiwanis Club. And then we also have the Chamber of Commerce. It's always present in our community. Here we have the Rotary doing different projects in the city. We also have right here, this is a new group that I found out. They've been doing this for years. This is the Romulus Super Friends. They actually started this program driving from a road trip. These are all mid-'80s graduated Eagles doing positive things in our community. They're doing it under the radar. That's what I liked about them. They weren't trying for recognition. But here they are with, you know, passing out, you know, food during the holidays to the less fortunate families. But they're all just old Romulus Eagles that came part and did the right thing, you know, by our residents, try to give back a little bit. The Ministerial Alliance right here with the Martin Luther King Walk. That's a great event in our community. And we'll continue to work with St. John's Lodge. And there's our horseshoe event that we're having down there. And of course, our own Brownies and Girl Scouts. Good community things. Key goals from the administration in the 2022 and 23, these are some things we worked on. One of the key things we're working on, like I said, is public safety, fiscal responsibility. Those are some of the goals we have out there. We rate ourselves pretty hard on that one. We want to get an A all the time, but right now we're running at 87%, so B or better is what we get. So hats off to the administrative team for all the work you guys do. Great job, and 87% completion rate is a great job, so thank you for all the work you're doing. A look ahead in the city of Romulus. Second quarter goals. And this is where I talk about the pillars that we have in our visioning process, and I want to have our goals aligned with where the residents want us to go. Neighborhood areas and corridors. Police department headquarters. Our police department is in a 100-year-old school. We need to find a solve for that. We're trying to find a solve. We're working with Wayne County on some options right now, but we need to make that to be a building that they're proud to work out of, and we're proud to have them in. Again, with the One Romulus tour. Working on the upgrades to the media studio. Stay tuned for more productions there. Geographic advantage, more economic development and opportunities coming. The future workforce, DPW training and safety compliance, and also we also did the senior career fair. So we continue to work on those things, and our goals and initiatives from this team will be aligned with our visioning process and where the residents want to see us go. This one right here, I got to give credit to Julie Watelko. What's that?
What?
Going to Harvard, you guys. This Eagle is going. Can you believe that? Actually pretty proud of this. This is a great opportunity for the community, but all credit goes to Julie Watelko on this one. She's the one that said, you know what, you need to be a part of this program. Even if you apply this year, you work your name through process, and eventually you might be able to go, and it's going to be a great asset for us. I never saw much of that value to it. I'm not big on, rubbing shoulders with people, but I saw the value in working with SEMCOG, and again, reaching our, expanding our regional significance here. And then I realized once I was in the interview process with this panel, how I got to tell our story, and I heard the words coming from me and not just somebody else, what they heard Romulus was. So, I didn't know that I got the award. I didn't know I had been selected or chosen for this process yet, but I came back and I told Julie, hats off for you sending me there, because it was great to be able to tell our story to another crowd and another important body in southeastern Michigan. Lo and behold, they called me a few weeks later and said I've been selected. So yeah, they are sending me off to Harvard. I've been awarded the Tubman Fellowship, so it's no cost to the city of Romulus. They're going to send me there to Harvard to learn from community leaders, and I've talked to some people who've been in this program before, and people as far as the security guards for Nelson Mandela, generals from the Russian army when the walls fell in Berlin, all these different people in our world, and it's all about designing and building up leadership and relationships for me to bring back and continue to move the city forward. So I'm very proud of this. Like I said, Julie, great job getting me to go in there. Who knew they're going to choose me to go to Harvard, but it's a big honor to be selected for the Tubman Fellowship, so I'm excited about doing that. And like I said, I'm only excited about it if it's going to win some bring some wins back for this community. So excited about that opportunity to continue to tell our story at another level. That means we're getting close. That means we're almost done with this, right? I can't say enough. My priority has been about my family. You see them all down here, and the kids are going nuts. So love you guys. Thanks for hanging on. But this job, if there's anything that I underestimate about this job, is it's a 24/7 job. And I haven't been able to spend time with my kids and my grandkids like I would love to. So thank you to my family for being patient for me, especially my beautiful wife. Thank you for all you put up with this job, and the long hours and the conversations and the interruptions when we're eating. I couldn't do it without you guys and the support system that I have. So we wanted to throw some pictures up. Here we had the kids at the Tiger game. Here we are making chocolates in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And bring your kid to work day. I brought my grandson Declan to be the mini mayor for the day. So he did a great job with the community right there. I can't say enough about him and at the family. So that being said, I would like to call Declan and Dahlia up to the stage, please. Come on up, you guys. Go to the stage. Come on, you two. You know you're dying over there. Come here, Declan. Here, hold these. Wait for a minute. Come on, Dahlia. Come on over here. Wait, buddy. Come here, Dahlia. How about a round of applause for Dahlia and Declan, you guys? Wait. Come on, Mimi, you two. Here you go, Declan. Go get these to Mimi, will you, please? Not done with you yet, baby. Don't get up that easy. I'm not going to be outdone by the kids. So these ones are for me, and thank you for all you put up with for the long hours and the know-it-all husband. So thank you. I love you. Couldn't do it without you.
Thank you.
So round of applause, you guys, for the family, please. That being said, please rise for the retiring of the colors. most of all, thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you for being a part of our community and whatever part and role you play. Thank you very much. It all matters, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hear about the momentum and the exciting things we have going on in our community. So thank you tonight for your attendance, and thank you for your participation in all you do in our community. It's been an honor serving you, and I continue to exceed your expectations, I hope.